What is your name at the Pima County Jail, please?
My name's Michael Munoz.
Okay. Mr. Munoz, it looks like you had a criminal trespass warrant for your arrest from December 3rd of 2024. A warrant had gone out for your arrest, and I'm going to quash the warrant. Looks like you're in custody on another matter. I'll release you on this justice court case only. Your next court date is going to be February 25th at 8:30 a.m. Just I'll let justice court know that you're in custody. If you're out of custody, you got to make sure you appear. If you're in custody, justice court will know where you're at. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I should be getting out this Friday. So then on February 25th is when I go to this one?
Yep, in justice court. Exactly.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much. You as well, ma'am. Thank you. God bless you.
Sure.
Your Honor, this is the Spanish interpreter. Just wanted to let you know that I've joined. I'm going on mute.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, this is the jail.
Yes.
I just wanted to let you know as well that Rios Amanda is still currently at the hospital.
Okay, thanks. We'll continue her.
Alameda. Yes, have a seat, bud.
What is your name, please?
Luis Diego Alameda.
All right, looks like you had a domestic violence disorderly conduct warrant for your arrest out of justice court. The alleged incident date was from May 19th of 2018. So this warrant's been pending for a while. I'm going to quash the warrant now that you're in custody. I'm going to give you a chance to appear. I'm going to release you. You're going to be in justice court January 29th, 2025 at 2:00 p.m. And an attorney is being appointed for you, Robin Ald, I believe. Do not commit any further acts of domestic violence. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hold on a second. If I'm releasing somebody on an old domestic violence disorderly conduct, do they get appointed counsel? Okay. Oh, yeah. So I'm not appointing counsel. So just make sure you appear on your own on January 29th at 2:00 p.m. That's on Monday. So it's a quick turnaround. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Yes.
you. If you don't appear, another warrant's going to issue. Thank you. You're excused.
Very good. Yeah. Go out there, bro. Just have a seat.
What is your full name, please?
Carlos Ignacio Enriquez.
You had a couple of warrants for your arrest. One was a case out of Green Valley. It was for some sort of traffic offense. I'm going to quash that warrant, release you on that case. Your next court date in Green Valley is February 6th at 8:30 a.m. Then you also had 3 warrants for your arrest out of city court for 3 separate cases. One case was a domestic violence criminal damage charge. One case was a domestic violence assault, domestic violence disorderly conduct, drug paraphernalia case. The third one is a drug paraphernalia charge. I am going to quash those warrants, enter pleas of not guilty. I'm going to set your bond at $1,000, appoint you an attorney with the city public defender's office. Your next hearing date is going to be in city court, February 4th at 1:45 p.m. So make sure if you're out of custody, you got to make sure you appear. If you're in custody, you got to make sure. Well, you'll be seen by a judge. All right, you're excused. Thank you.
Great.
Okay. The felony 15. Okay. What is your full name, please?
Nation Green.
All right, Ms. Green. You said Naisha Marie Green. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you had a warrant for your arrest for criminal trespass in the first degree. The alleged incident date was from June 27th of 2022. I'm going to quash that warrant, release you on that charge. Your next court date is going to be in justice court, February 25th at 8:30 a.m. And make sure you don't go back to that victim's yard. I don't even know if you remember it. You also have a new charge for possession of drug paraphernalia from today's date. I'm going to enter plea of not guilty. Set your next court date in Justice Court, February 25th at 8:30 a.m. And then you had 3 cases in warrant status at a city court for 3 separate criminal trespass charges. Miss Green, some of these trespass go back to October 10th of 2022, another one from December 12th of 2022, and then a recent one from April 4th of last year. Are you living in Tucson, Miss Green? Miss Green, can you hear me? Are you awake?
Yeah.
All right. Do you live in Tucson?
Yeah.
Are you living on the streets or are you living at home?
The streets.
All right. I'm going to set your bond at $200. Appoint you an attorney to help you with your case. February 4th, 2025 at 1:45 p.m. is your next court date in city courts. All right. You're excused. Thank you. What is your full name, please?
And Miranda.
All right. So, Miss Miranda, looks like you had charges out of Marana Municipal Court was for a shoplifting warrant for your arrest. The alleged case was from November 7th of 2022. And I'm going to quash that warrant. I'm going to give you a chance to appear on your own, even though this warrant's been pending for a while. You'll need to appear in Marana March 5th, 2025 at 10 a.m. If you don't appear, another warrant's going to issue for your arrest. You understand?
Okay.
And then, Miss Miranda, you have 3 cases in my court. I'm Judge Hale from Tucson City Court. You had 2 shopliftings and a drug paraphernalia case. One case goes all the way back, drug paraphernalia, June 12th of 2018. The shoplifting was from November 18th of 2022, and a shoplifting from May 21st, 2022. So, Ms. Miranda, are you living in Tucson?
Yes.
How did you get stopped by the police? Oh, you're in custody on a felony matter?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to release you, give you a chance to be held. I'm sorry, I'm going to release you on these city court cases because you're being held on that felony. I'm going to set your next hearing date, February 28th at 9 a.m., and you'll see a judge in city court. You are
Okay.
excused. Thank you. What is your full name, please?
Tristan Dobson.
All right, Mr. Dobson, it looks like you were picked up and you had a case where you had a warrant for your arrest. Gosh, this case is from 2016. You had taken a diversion for being underage, 21 and under, and having alcohol in your body. And you had taken a diversion plea offer, and it looks like you never completed diversion successfully. All I'm going to do is enter the plea of guilty into the record, and your fine is going to be $350. So it looks like you had taken a diversion plea offer back on June 30th, 2016 for 1 count of being underage and having alcohol in your body. The alleged offense date was June 19th of 2016. I'll enter the plea into the record. Your fine is 12 months of unsupervised probation. Just basically means beginning today's date, don't violate any new laws. Your fine is $350. I'll dismiss the failure to appear, and I'll just set you up on a payment plan. Are you currently employed?
Yes, ma'am. I can pay for it in cash too.
All right, I'll set it up for $25 monthly beginning February 15th, 2025. But if you can pay it off before then, great. If you can only pay $25, that's fine too. I need to
Thank
let you know 2 things. Once you've paid off that fine, you may file a petition to set aside your conviction. Really important motion to file. And then number 2, in 3 years, you may file a petition to seal your court file. Those are also important motions. Both of those motions, you can file it in room 104 in City Court. I put the name of the motions on your paperwork so you can remember to file those documents when you have paid off the fine and after 12 months of unsupervised probation. Mr. Dobson, what is your date of birth?
4198.
I'm sorry, say that again, by month?
4198. April 1st, 98.
April 1st, 1998. All right, thank you. You're excused.
Donaldson.
Sorry? No, you do not. Mm-mm. Judge Close is going to see the person on that non-transport. No, no, do not appoint. What is your full name, please?
James Matthew Donaldson.
Mr. Donaldson, you picked up new
Yes, ma'am.
charges of assault, criminal trespass, shoplifting, and a separate case for drug paraphernalia charges. Those are your newest charges. You also had cases in warrant status. Drug paraphernalia, criminal trespass on November 16th, 2024. And criminal trespass, drug familiar from November 30th of 2024. I am going to enter pleas of not guilty. Because you picked up new charges, your bond is set at $1,000. City Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. And your next hearing date is going to be in City Court. Let's see, Donaldson. It's going to be on February 4th, 2025 at 1:45 p.m. You are excused. Thank you. What is your full name, please?
My name is Christopher Anthony Zufuata.
Is there a is there a felony public defender there, jail?
1 second, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Goodman, you're there?
I'm here, Judge. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Judge Carter Santini here for the defendants.
Oh, hi. Good evening. Thank you for being
Good
here.
evening.
All right, so Mr. Zozuesa, you're charged with 1 count of murder in a second degree. I'm an inner plea of not guilty. Need to let you know that you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. Mr. Goodman. And Mr. Goodman, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now, Judge?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so the state's recommending $10,000 with pretrial services in lieu of no bond. I'm familiar with Mr. Zazueta. He was been in the STEPS program since October, has been struggling the entire time, and is now essentially escalated while on release to committing essentially a residential type of burglary offense. So the state feels a bond in lieu of no bond would be appropriate.
Defense counsel?
So, Judge, I understand the state's concerns. Mr. Zazueta would like to be released back to the custody of his mom and father, who he does reside with. He, is in the system. He is in the STEPS case. If you are inclined to hold him, Judge, we would be asking for a more reasonable bond of $1,100.
Because I really don't have a choice. Either I can hold you without bond, or I can go with the state's recommendation. So I'm going to do the $10,000 bond, no contact with the victims. Don't go back to that residence location if you get out of custody. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is February 5th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you. Thank you.
Oh, could I get the court date one more time, Judge?
February 5th at 1:30 p.m.
February 5th. Thank you, Judge.
No problem. What is your full name, please?
Su nombre entero, por favor.
Ubaldo Romo Canales.
Ubaldo Romo Canales.
Mr. Canales, you have 2 separate felony cases.
Señor Canales, usted tiene 2 casos separados y los 2 son de delito mayor.
You had a felony warrant for your arrest charging you with unlawful possession of narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. The offense date was from May 17th of 2021.
Muy bien, primero tenía usted una orden de arresto pendiente de un cargo de posesión de drogas peligrosas junto con artículos de drogas y la fecha del cargo viene siendo mayo 17, 2021.
I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty.
Voy a entablar declaraciones de no culpable.
You also had a new felony charge from today's date for 1 count of unlawful possession of a narcotic drug.
También tiene usted un cargo de hoy que es posesión ilícita de un narcótico.
I need to let you know, sir, that you do have a constitutional right to remain silent.
Señor, necesito que usted sepa que tiene usted un derecho constitucional de guardar silencio.
You do have a right to be represented by an attorney.
Tiene el derecho de ser representado por un abogado.
You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing.
Y usted sí tiene un abogado que está sentado al lado de usted y él está representándolo para la audiencia de hoy.
I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty.
Voy a entablar declaraciones de no culpable.
I want to let you know you do have an immigration ICE hold on you.
También necesito que usted sepa que hay una orden de migración, una detención de migración, una orden de detención de migración.
I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor regarding his bond recommendation.
Voy a dejar que el fiscal hable primero sobre la recomendación de la fianza para usted.
Mr. Goodman?
Señor Goodman.
You're able to hear me, Your Honor?
Yes.
The state's recommending the warrant amount of $25,000 cash secured on the warrant, just based on it being drug sales related and his criminal history. And then on the new narcotic drug violation, we're just requesting a nominal bond with a smart court hearing date for that matter.
Muy bien, señor. Estamos recomendando una fianza de $25,000, ya sea efectivo o garantía, tomando en cuenta que el caso está ahorita con una petición de orden de arresto y tomando en cuenta que se estaba vendiendo drogas. Y también en cuanto al cargo de hoy, estamos pidiendo una fianza pequeña y estamos pidiendo que lo organicen para que forme parte del tribunal de SMART.
Mr. Goodman, do you know how much allegedly the amount of drug is involved?
Señor Goodman, ¿usted sabe supuestamente qué cantidad de droga estaba involucrada?
Pues la verdad no.
A second, Your Honor, I just need to cut and paste the case number and I can see what I can find for you.
Señoría, si me puede dar un momento, nada más puedo ver si puedo averiguar.
Oh, yes, Your Honor. This is a significant amount of drugs. It's essentially 2.25 pounds of cocaine, it looks like.
Muy bien, señor. Su señoría, parece que es una cantidad grande de drogas. Parece que son 2.25 libras de cocaína.
Defense counsel, your recommendation?
Judge, we would be asking.
Licenciado de la defensa, por favor.
Judge, we would be asking for a more reasonable bond of $1,100 given his immigration hold.
No, su señoría, estamos pidiendo una fianza más razonable, dado que él tiene una orden de detención de migración.
Mr. Romo, your bond for the warrant case is set at $25,000, and for your new case, it's set at $1,000.
Muy bien, señor Romo. La fianza para el caso que tiene una orden de arresto pendiente se fija la fianza en $25,000 y en relación al nuevo caso la fianza se fija en $1,000.
In both cases, the County Public Defender's Office is appointed as counsel.
Y en los dos casos se le asigna el abogado, un abogado defensor de la Oficina de Defensores del Condado.
For the warrant case, the arraignment date is set for February 3rd, 2025 at 1:30 p.m.
Para el caso que tiene la orden de arresto pendiente, la lectura de cargos se fija para I'm sorry, Your Honor, was that February 23rd? Para el 3 de febrero 2025 a la 1:30 de la tarde.
For the newest case, the preliminary hearing is set February 5th at 1:30 p.m.
Y para el caso nuevo que usted tiene, se fija la audiencia preliminar para el 5 de febrero a la 1:30 de la tarde.
Your attorney will be in touch with you soon. Thank you.
Su abogado estará en contacto con usted pronto. Gracias, señor. Your Honor, this is the interpreter. I don't think there is any more Spanish. If that is the case, the interpreter please.
Brooks.
What is your full name, please?
Mary Brooks.
Is it Malaya your middle name?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you are charged with unlawful possession of a dangerous drug, unlawful possession of narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. You do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. Mr. Goodman.
Your Honor, the state is recommending $1,000 bond with pretrial in lieu of no bond and a smart court hearing date for this. Looks like she's already on felony release for an indicted case and also a second case which she recently failed out of steps for and is currently set for preliminary hearings.
Defense counsel.
Judge, given the open warrant in the state's position regarding no bond, we would be in agreement with a $1,000 bond.
All right, Ms. Brooks, your bond is set at $1,000 plus release to pretrial services if you're able to post that bond, but you also are in custody on the other matter. If you were to get out of custody, you'll be released to supervision of pretrial services. You must comply with any monitored treatment they recommend. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your first hearing is set for a smart hearing on February 4th at 9 a.m. Your preliminary hearing is set February 18th at 1:30 p.m. You also have 2 cases in warrant status out of city court. One case was a contributing to delinquency of minor charge. The other case was a shoplifting drug paraphernalia. I'm going to quash those warrants, release you, set your next court date in city court, February 28th at 9 a.m. And you'll see a judge in city court. And I'll let city court know that you're currently in custody on that felony case. You are excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
What is your full name, please?
Rihanna Martinez.
What's your middle name, please?
Carmen.
You're charged with 1 count of aggravated DUI. I'm going to enter plea of not guilty. You do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I'll hear from your attorney, Mr. Goodman.
Your Honor, we're essentially recommending a $7,500 bond with free trial just based on the fact she's pending a DUI out of Maricopa County that allegedly occurred much less than a year ago out that way. So that's the reason for the state's recommendation.
Defense counsel?
Judge, we would be asking for her release in this case. I would like to note that she does have substantial ties to the community. She's been a lifelong Tucson resident, and her mother has confirmed housing with her. It is true that there is a pending misdemeanor DUI up in Maricopa County, but I do believe that's been just recently refiled from the looks on my pretrial services, and she has just moved residences about a month ago from my review as well. So it's possible she may have not even had noticed that that's now fully pending up in Maricopa County, given the change of residence. And Judge, she has no felony criminal history. I would like to note as well, weighing towards her release.
Ms. Martinez, your bond is set at $7,500, and it's because of that pending DUI case. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. If you were to get out of custody, you cannot drive without a valid license. You cannot drink any alcohol or take any illegal drugs. February 5th, 1:30 is your preliminary hearing. You also have, let's see, I believe that was it. Thank you. Sorry.
The attorney to see it.
Okay, so
That's like
What is your full name, please?
James Michael McGill Senior.
I'm sorry, say your name again, please.
James Michael McGill Senior.
All right, so Mr. Miguel, it looks like you have a fugitive warrant for your arrest out of New Mexico. It involved charges of burglary of a vehicle, unlawful taking of a vehicle, and criminal damage. The alleged incident date was from November 3rd, 2024. I am going to quash the warrant, enter pleas of not guilty. The state is asking that I set a $10,000 bond in your case. And I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their reasoning, and then I'll hear from your attorney. Defense counsel, Mr. Goodman?
Your Honor, I believe the fugitive warrant doesn't list a bond amount. State feels $10,000 cash secured is appropriate, given that he was already given a chance to appear out of custody on, I believe, their version of pretrial services. He's got several misdemeanor warrants out for his arrest. He incurred a new misdemeanor matter locally, and it doesn't look like he has a known residence, as well as being maxed out on both scales.
Defense counsel?
Judge, we would be asking for a much more reasonable bond of $1,100, given that he is indigent and homeless at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Miguel, your bond set at $7,500. No contact with the alleged victims in that case. The legal defender's office is going to help you with that extradition matter. Your next hearing date in Superior Court's January 30th, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you soon. You also had 2 warrants for your arrest at a justice court. One case was for a criminal damage theft case on March 30th of 2022. And then you had another theft, criminal damage, drug paraphernalia case from August 17th of 2023. For both of those cases, I am going to release you. Your next court date in justice court is going to be February 25th at 8:30 a.m. on both cases. And I will let Justice Court know that you are in custody on the felony matters. You also had cases out of city court, warrants for your arrest on a criminal trespass matter, a separate case for criminal trespass, drug paraphernalia, and then a third case for drug paraphernalia. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. I'm going to release you on those cases and set your next hearing date in city court on February 28th at 9 a.m. And I'll let City Court know that you have a case pending in your fugitive case. You're in custody. All right, you're excused. Thank you.
Excuse me.
What is your full name, please?
David Joseph Newman.
Mr. Noonan, you have two separate felony cases. One case is from January 23rd, 2025. It was for a charge of unlawful flight from law enforcement, 2 counts of weapons misconduct. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. The other case is from January 26th, today's date, for 2 counts of being a prohibited possession of a prohibited weapon, unlawful possession of narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. In both cases, I need to let you know you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearings. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. Mr. Goodman.
Your Honor, the state's recommending $7,500 cash secured with pretrial for each based on the criminal history, the nature of the offenses, and his probation status out of Cochise County.
I believe he does have a probation hold. All right, defense counsel?
Yes, Judge, given the probation hold out of Cochise County, we would be asking for a reasonable bond of $1,100.
Mr. Noonan, in both cases, your bonds are separate bonds of $7,500. In the, let's see, what case is this? Both cases, you cannot possess any firearms. Both cases, public defender's office is appointed to represent you. In both cases, your preliminary hearing is set for February 5th at 1:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you soon. Thank you. What is your full name, please?
Jason Alexander Slavin.
All right, you are charged with unlawful possession of narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. You do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. You do have an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. Mr. Goodman.
Your Honor, the state's recommending a $5,000 bond with pretrial services in lieu of no bond. And in addition to a smart hearing, he is already on felony release for a drug sales and weapons offense matter, it would appear.
Defense counsel.
Judge, given the state's position regarding the no bond hold, we would be asking for a more reasonable bond of $1,100.
Mr. Schlotman, I could hold you on without bond, but my hands are tied and I have to set the bond at $5,000 plus release the pretrial services. If you're able to post that bond, you must comply with any monitoring treatment as directed by pretrial services. Your first hearing is called a smart hearing. It is set for February 4th at 9 a.m. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is going to be February 5th at 1:30 p.m. Thank you. You are excused.
Dylan.
What is your full name, please?
Dylan Jacob Silava.
Mr. Siglowka, looks like you were arrested for charges of unlawful possession of dangerous drug, unlawful possession of narcotic drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. The state has made a decision at this time to dismiss your case, so I have dismissed your case without prejudice, which means that the state could refile this case at some later point. If you receive notice that this case has been refiled, then you will have to appear in court for an arraignment date. You still have a probation hold on you, so even though I'm releasing you on this new case, you're still going to stay in custody. Thank you. You're excused.
Oh.
Okay. The victim on Valles Fuentes, if you could hit *6, we appreciate it. What is your full name, please?
Damian Manuel Valles Fuentes.
All right, so it looks like you're charged with domestic violence disorderly conduct involving a weapon and discharging a firearm within the city limits. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty. I need to let you know that you do have a constitutional right to remain silent, to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. I'm going to hear first from the prosecutor's office regarding their bond recommendation, and then I will hear from your attorney. Also, there is a victim present. So the victim in this case, you want to be heard regarding release conditions or no release?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. You can go ahead and make your statement.
Myself? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't feel that Damien is a danger to me or the children. I feel like the alcohol has a big toll right now on him. And I would love for him to come home if that was a possibility. But honestly, this is really hard to go through at this time. But I just hope you hear me out and just know that I don't feel that he is a danger to our safety or anyone else's. It's just more of the alcohol being an issue.
Thank you. Mr. Goodman?
You able to hear me, Your Honor?
Yes.
Your Honor, that type of input is not uncommon in these types of cases. Whether alcohol was involved or not, he fired a gun and said everyone was going to die and took the victim's phone, broke it. In addition to her being present, 4 minor children, or at least minor victims, not necessarily everyone being a young child, were present. So the state feels the high requested bond is appropriate.
Defense counsel?
Judge, I understand the state's concerns with the allegations in this case, and I know Damien does as well, Judge. He is asking for his release today, not to the family home where the victim resides and where the minor victims reside, but he would like to reside with his aunt. Her name is Acela. I have contacted her personally, confirmed that housing and support is available. Damien does want you to know that he is the sole provider for this family. And with the victim's desires, I believe that with enhanced pretrial services, as well as, substance abuse monitoring and treatment, and still, no physical contact at the very least with the alleged victim, that should be sufficient to show that he's not a harm to her or the family, at least not a continuing harm. I would like to also note, Judge, that as far as the other factors that go into weighing his release, he has no priors, he has no failures to appear that are available to me that I noticed. He is gainfully employed in Tucson, so he does not pose a flight risk, and he has a strong community base here locally. So, Judge, those factors do weigh towards his release. If you're not inclined to release him, Judge, I would ask that you impose a more reasonable bond of $1,100, noting that he is indigent and requires appointed counsel.
Mr. Fuentes, because of the alleged nature of the facts of this case, your bond is set at $50,000 plus release of pretrial services. If you're able to post that bond, you must comply with any monitored treatment as directed by pretrial services. You are not allowed to contact Monique or the children, go to where they live. You're not allowed to possess any firearms or weapons, commit no further acts of domestic violence, drink or possess no alcohol or any illegal drugs. Public Defender's Office is appointed to represent you. Your preliminary hearing is set February 5th at 1:30 p.m. Your attorney will be in touch with you. Thank you.
Wilson.
What is your full name, please?
Selena Esther Wilson.
Ms. Wilson, looks like you had a warrant for your arrest out of Maricopa County. It was for a charge of unlawful possession of a dangerous drug, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia. The alleged incident date was from April 26th of 2024. I'm going to quash the warrant, enter pleas of not guilty, let you know you do have a constitutional right to remain silent and to be represented by an attorney. There is an attorney who is seated next to you representing you for this evening's hearing. Maricopa County is asking for a $250 bond. Defense counsel?
One moment, let me speak with it.
Okay.
So, Judge, we would be asking for Miss Wilson's release. She has informed me that she does have transport up to Phoenix. She is currently fleeing a domestic violence situation. And she has gotten in contact with the court to set up what she had said was a hearing to quash on the 5th of February. And when she contacted the police about the alleged a domestic violence situation, they ran her name and found these warrants and arrested her when she was trying to get help in her situation. So, Judge, given that the bond amount requested is low, given that she has no prior felony history, and that these are these are narcotic drug cases, I believe that she's not a threat to the community, and she should be released and allowed to make her way up to Maricopa to handle these on herself. Thank you.
Ms. Wilson, your bond set at $250. It's secured. I'll appoint the Maricopa County Public Defender's Office to represent you. You'll have a review hearing here February 26, 2025 at 9 a.m. to see if you're still in custody. All right. Thank you. You're excused.